I want to talk about some of the work that we've done with ball projection machines. And ball projection machines, they're a very common tool that are used to enhance skill acquisition in many team games. And they're used, as I said, in a variety of sports, and actually in the sport of cricket, which I'm sure you're very familiar with here in Catalonia. In the sport of cricket, it's been used for a long time. Here's a graph from an original ball projection machine that was used in 1867 at the princely sum of £12. You would have purchased that bit of technology. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that the modern technology used to practice cricket actions. For those of you who are not familiar with cricket, the aim of a bowler in cricket is to bowl the ball at the sticks, the stumps behind the batsman, and the batsman has to try and prevent the ball from hitting the sticks, the stumps, and also try to score some runs. So you can use one action, which is a forward defensive action, or you can use a drive, which is more of an attacking action. So what we were interested in is essentially when people practice batting against a ball projection machine, is their movement timing the same as when they practice batting against a bowler? Because the informational constraints are different. So you can see where there may be an issue in terms of designing those task constraints. So you can see here that at the highest level, on the right-hand side of the screen, you've got somebody practicing performing a forward defensive stroke against a ball projection machine set up so they can have repetitive trials. And then you've got at the bottom of the screen here a not so good photograph of an individual bowler. And very skillful bowlers will keep their actions exactly the same, and at the last second they will vary. If you look at the hand movement on the ball, the finger pattern on the ball, that's different. And that means that the ball will bounce and spin that way with one action pattern, with one finger pattern, and bounce and spin that way with one finger pattern. Everything else stays exactly the same. So there's a lot of information that's present in the bowler's actions that can't be represented in the task design when someone's practicing against a bowling machine or a ball projection machine. So a master's student from Sheffield Hallam University, Ross Pinder, wanted to look at this idea, whether the coordination patterns, the movement organisation was the same when batting against the projection machine compared to batting against the bowler. And his initial study in his master's project showed that there were some key differences that coaches need to understand. On the left-hand side, you can see the data, a graphic for looking at the back height. That's the bat height that an individual lifts the bat to, compared to that's when batting against the bowler. And against the bowling machine, you can see that there's a lower bat height that's involved. So it's the first inkling that there's a different movement organisation that's used in when practicing against a projection machine versus practicing against a real bowler. When you can see that there. So then Ross came to QUT in Brisbane and he did a PhD with us, and he looked at things in a bit more depth, and we looked again at somebody performing a forward defensive action and a forward drive action against a bowler and a ball projection machine. So the bowler was bowling at the same velocity as the ball projection machine. And Ross looked at different moments of the action. So if you look at the graph at the bottom, at the horizontal axis, at the point of ball release, there's no difference between in the action, in the initiation of the action, the timing of the action, when the ball is projected by the ball machine versus released by the bowler. But then in between, at the point of backswing of the bat, the point of front foot movement, the point of downswing of the bat, and front foot placement, there were key differences, but all coming together at the point of bat ball impact. So there are some timing differences that emerged as those different task constraints are implemented. And the interesting thing is that many cricketers seek a solution. If they're out of form when they're batting, they tend to seek a solution by spending a lot of time in front of a ball projection machine. And essentially what coaches need to understand is that the task constraints when you're batting against a ball projection machine versus a real bowler are quite distinct and could lead to different patterns, timing patterns emerging under those different task constraints, because the information that's present varies. Now this is the new generation of ball projection machine. This would set you back about nearly $80,000 to buy this. It was originally designed for use with baseball batters, and the idea here is, and this is Cricket Australia's Centre of Excellence in Brisbane, and the idea here is that you can get any DVD of any bowler in the world so that you can see their actions, and you can actually time your actions, your batting actions, to the bowling actions of any bowler in the world. It's getting there. It certainly provides advanced information compared to the typical old-fashioned ball projection machine, but the problem is there's only one point of ball release, and you can just see the hole at the back that the ball is projected from. And against good bowlers, they will vary that point of release. Sometimes releasing here, sometimes there, sometimes there, sometimes back a bit as well. So in a sense, the task still needs a bit of work on, because batsmen, when they're practicing against that task, will tend to fixate on the hole.